The Master Electrician exam has undergone changes, making it a shorter and potentially easier assessment than before. The previous exam format was 8 hours long, consisting of 2 parts, and now it is a 5-hour exam. Previously, the exam consisted of 90 questions, but now the exam consists of 75 questions. This change in duration and question count suggests a streamlining of the exam content, possibly focusing on the most critical aspects of electrical mastery. While specific questions or topics removed are not detailed, the reduction in dull questions hints at a more practical, application-based examination. To prepare for the exam, even with minimal study, focus on key areas of the National Electrical Code, or NEC, and common electrical calculations. Familiarize yourself with general requirements for wiring and protection found in NEC Articles 100 through 400. This includes understanding overcurrent protection requirements, grounding and bonding rules, and conductor ampacity adjustments. Pay attention to the general use equipment articles in NEC 400 through 600, such as those regarding flexible cores, fixtures, appliances, motors, and air conditioning equipment. You should also be familiar with special occupancies covered in NEC Articles 500 through 700 for hazardous locations, healthcare facilities, and emergency systems. When you study the codebook, focus on the definitions in Article 100, as they are the foundation for understanding the NEC. Become very familiar with Chapter 3, Wiring Methods and Materials. This chapter covers everything from box fill calculations to conduit sizing, and allowable uses for different wiring methods. Article 250, Grounding and Bonding, is critical for safety and compliance. Make sure you understand the difference between equipment grounding and system grounding and the rules for sizing grounding conductors. Chapter 9 contains useful tables and examples for calculating conductor properties, conduit fill, and voltage drop. These tables are invaluable during the exam. Effective study strategies involve practice questions. While the previous exam was reported to have a passing score of 75%, it is important to aim high to account for any potential errors or unexpected questions. The key is to focus on understanding the underlying principles and applying them to real-world scenarios. Remember to review calculations related to Ohm's law, power formulas, and voltage drop. Common questions will involve sizing conductors, selecting appropriate overcurrent protection, and calculating box fill. Understanding how to use the NEC tables to find the correct conductor ampacity, conduit size, and grounding conductor size is critical. When taking the exam, manage your time effectively. With a 5-hour time limit for 75 questions, you have approximately 4 minutes per question. Prioritize questions you know well and answer them first. This builds confidence and ensures you secure points for the easier material. If a question is particularly challenging, mark it and return to it later. Avoid spending too much time on a single question initially. Read each question carefully and identify the key information. Pay attention to words like always, never, minimum, and maximum, as they can significantly change the meaning of the question. Eliminate obviously incorrect answers to narrow down your choices. Even if you are unsure of the correct answer, an educated guess is better than leaving it blank. Utilize the NEC effectively. The exam allows you to use the NEC, so become proficient in navigating the book quickly. Use the index and table of contents to locate relevant articles and tables. Underline or highlight key information in your codebook during your study sessions to make it easier to find during the exam, but make sure highlighting is allowed, as some testing centers have rules about that. Double-check your answers if time permits. Review your answers to ensure you haven't made any careless mistakes. Pay attention to units of measurement and make sure your calculations are accurate. If a question involves a calculation, double-check your work to avoid simple errors. Remember that electrical safety is paramount. The Master Electrician exam assesses not only your knowledge of the code but also your ability to apply it safely. Consider common scenarios encountered in residential, commercial, and industrial settings. Focus on understanding the requirements for different types of equipment, wiring methods, and occupancies. Keep in mind that the exam tests your ability to apply the code in practical situations. Therefore, focus on understanding the intent behind the regulations and how they relate to real-world applications. For example, understanding the requirements for GFCI protection in bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor areas is crucial for ensuring safety. Similarly, understanding the rules for bonding metal water pipes and gas pipes is essential for preventing electrical shock hazards. Understanding the NEC definition of qualified person and the requirements for working on energized equipment is also vital. The code emphasizes the importance of proper training and safety procedures to minimize the risk of electrical accidents. You must understand the general wiring and protection requirements, which are found in NEC Articles 100 through 400. This involves overcurrent protection, grounding and bonding, and conductor and capacity adjustments. Secondly, the exam will test your knowledge of general use equipment, as described in NEC Articles 400 through 600, including flexible cords, fixtures, appliances, motors, and air conditioning equipment. Thirdly, special occupancies are addressed in NEC Articles 500 through 700, so understanding hazardous locations, healthcare facilities, and emergency systems is also important. Consider focusing your study on these key areas of the NEC to improve your chances of success. You will need to perform electrical calculations as well. This includes Ohm's law calculations to determine voltage, current, or resistance in a circuit. Power calculations are also important for determining the power consumption of electrical equipment. Voltage drop calculations ensure that the voltage at the end of a circuit is within acceptable limits. You will also need to perform conductor sizing calculations to determine the appropriate size of conductors for a given load. Finally, box fill calculations determine the maximum number of conductors allowed in an electrical box. It is essential to understand how to use the NEC tables to find the correct conductor ampacity, conduit size, and grounding conductor size. This information is necessary to properly size electrical components and ensure compliance with the code. The Master Electrician exam is designed to assess your competency in electrical theory, code compliance, and safe work practices. Focus on understanding the fundamental principles, applying the code accurately, and prioritizing safety in all aspects of your work. You will also need to perform grounding and bonding calculations. Grounding ensures a low impedance path for fault current to return to the source, while bonding connects non-current carrying metal parts to create an electrically conductive path. The NEC provides detailed requirements for grounding and bonding systems, including the size and type of grounding conductors, the methods for connecting to ground, and the requirements for bonding different types of metal equipment. Some test-taking strategies include reading each question carefully. Take your time to fully understand the question before attempting to answer it. Identify the key information and pay attention to any specific instructions. Eliminate incorrect answers. If you're unsure of the correct answer, try to eliminate any obviously wrong choices. This will increase your odds of selecting the correct answer. Use the process of elimination to narrow down your options. Refer to the NEC. Don't hesitate to consult the NEC if you're unsure of the answer to a question. The code book is your most valuable resource during the exam. Use the index and table of contents to quickly locate relevant information. Manage your time wisely. Keep track of the time and pace yourself accordingly. Don't spend too much time on any one question. If you're stuck, move on and come back to it later. Remember, every question is worth the same number of points, so it's important to attempt all questions. Double check your answers. If you have time remaining at the end of the exam, review your answers carefully. Look for any careless errors or omissions. Make sure you've answered all questions and that your answers are legible. Stay calm and focused. It's natural to feel nervous during an exam, but try to stay calm and focused. Take deep breaths to relax and concentrate on the task at hand. Trust in your knowledge and preparation, and you'll be more likely to succeed. To avoid errors, carefully review calculations. Errors in calculations can lead to incorrect answers, so double-check your work before submitting your exam. Pay attention to units of measurement and ensure that your calculations are accurate. If a question involves a formula, Write it down and plug in the values carefully. Use a calculator to perform complex calculations and double-check your results. If you're unsure of a calculation, ask for assistance from the exam proctor. By following these tips, you can minimize errors and improve your chances of success on the Master Electrician exam.